that build character. Games like that show you that you can get in games like that and win. And so I'm proud of the way our guys bounced back from a tough loss last week. They had a great week of practice, and they came today and played a really good team, a really physical team, and we matched them, hit for hit, and we were fortunate to get a win there. But that's a good football team, and that was the kind of game we needed. So.
James Allen, AM 830. Were you happy the way the defense ended the game? It seemed like they were bend but don't break, and they scored their last touchdown. So were you happy with the way they finished?
No, I was happy with the last play where we, got off the field. You're talking about the touchdown drive. Yeah, that drive's disappointing. You'd like to be able to just end it without giving up a touchdown when you've played as well as you have. But I think you also have to give the other team credit for making plays. That's a team that doesn't give up, that Utah team, and they fight hard. But what we'll do is we'll go back and look at the film and correct any errors that we had. I think it's an opportunity to impress upon our young men how important it is to stay focused for an entire game. So we're still growing, we're still learning, we're still a developing team, even though we're 7 games in. We're a young team, and so games like that I think can be great lessons for you.
Obviously, there were 2 big special teams errors, the Manfro punt and then the Logan Sweet thing. What was your reaction when those happened, and how do you get that corrected this week?
Well, the Stephen Manfro thing, that guy just bombed that thing. That was a bomb, and Stephen was looking right up into the sun, and he made an error in judgment, and he'll be the first one to tell you that. He should have just let it go. It was a tough catch, and he shouldn't have tried to make it. The last one, we call that bleed punt, and we told the fellows on the sideline, just let the official blow the whistle, then we pick it up and hand it to you. And I think that Logan just made an instinctive play. It just bounced to him, and he grabbed it, and I apologize. You wish that hadn't happened, but once again it did, and here's what it did. It gave us a chance to teach off of it, and it gave us a chance to go out and defend that fast break play at the end and learn from that too. So try to eliminate them, but learn from them if they happen.
Can you talk about Brett's ability to scramble and kind of keep plays alive today?
Today he made a major step in my mind in terms of demonstrating his mobility as a quarterback. I think that all of us that have been at practice have seen it a lot. But today he tucked it and he ran when he saw an opportunity to do that, and I think that's going to make him more of a threat to defenses. Having a defensive background, I know how tough it is when you have to defend a quarterback that is effective throwing the ball and running it himself. And so we want to encourage him to do that when it's appropriate, but it's got to be the right time. And today I think he did it at the right times.
Jim?
Excuse me?
Weren't you bored most of the afternoon?
No, I wasn't bored today.
Find that to be a boring game?
I don't know that I've coached a boring game in my life.
Really?
No.
What was going on?
I think when you love your job, it's not boring.
Well, it can be boring, even when you love it.
Is that a question?
Well, it was a response to your statement. It does happen that way sometimes.
What was happening with the offense that was making it necessary for Brett to run when the game was running?
Good coverage, downfield. Probably the best front that we've seen so far. You saw that Jerry Johnson didn't play. You saw, obviously Devin's not in. Obviously Darius Bell's not in. So I think, we had to kind of simplify some things, simplify some concepts. That's a veteran defense that learns as they go through the game. But playing with as many kids as we were, some tough series in there for us, and I think that you've got to recognize that that's a really good defensive football team. But like I said, I don't want to use youth as an excuse, but I'll tell you that it is a reason for sometimes drive stalling. And but we've got to push through it, and we've got to continue to get better. And we can't lean on it as a crutch. But you're asking a question. That's a reason. Yeah, I looked out at Jeff Boffa, and he said, he gave me one of those like offensive lineman deals. I was encouraged that he did that, but I was in the great place the whole way. I just felt like we were moving the ball, we were moving the ball, we were having some success in that drive. I think it's just these games are important. I mean, they may be, not beautiful, and you may not have great stats, and but there's something to winning, tough ones. Especially when you're developing teams, especially when you're trying to, figure out how to get in a tough game and pull it out and win. I mean, there's just these are great learning and growing opportunities. And so, every game is not going to be a blowout. You've got to learn how to win these, and so it's a step in the right direction for us. I don't know. It's hard for me to tell without looking at the film. Things happen real fast, and he's in the middle of the defense. But I didn't notice any glaring errors. I didn't notice any big things. So, I think he probably feels comfortable in there. How he did play to play.
Coach, two questions. Jerry was still the rib?
Excuse me?
Jerry Johnson was still the rib? The receiver?
Yes, sir. Jerry Johnson still has the rib.
Okay. And then the other it seemed like he was pretty quiet tonight. Was that?
Well, you know what? They played a lot of even front. They're typically an odd front, and they played a lot more even front. So he was on X as much or more than he was on Jake. But I thought both of those guys did a good job. That guy is a great football player. He'll be a top 10 pick in the NFL draft.
That long drive, you had to open the third quarter to go up 21-7. I think Franklin got the ball 6 of those 14 plays. Can you talk about his, consistency as a runner and the way to grind those drives like that?
Sure. You like to have the ball in his hands. He doesn't go down easy. He fights for extra yards. He takes care of the football. He takes great pride in getting the ball in those times. And, just his intensity, his heart, the spirit, the way he runs. I mean, your team feeds off of that. They like to see it. It energizes your sideline when a guy's just digging it out, especially a guy like Jonathan. Because everybody sees how hard he works during the week. Everybody knows that he was in this game very beat up. Didn't do a lot in practice this week, and yet he just keeps grinding it out. I think you have great respect for the kid.
Jim, a couple things. First of all, the first drive, you guys had to call a timeout on, I think, the third play.
Second play.
Second play. What was happening there?
Brett called it Brett tweaked his knee on the very first play of the game. And then on that second play, it grabbed when he went to throw it. And he was trying to shake it out, and it just was really bothering him. So he used the timeout right there to try to gather himself.
And the second thing was Devin Fuller didn't seem like he got his 20 plays. Was he okay?
Yeah, he was. That's a goal of ours each week is to get him 20 plays, 15, 20, 25 plays. But we didn't have as many snaps on offense today as we typically do. So we still want to continue to work him in with Darius being out. And I don't know if Darius will be back for Arizona State or not. But if he's not, that gives Devin a chance to get more and more work. He's looking more and more comfortable with that position. So we want to get him the ball. He's a playmaker.
Coach, to your left. In a game where it's 14-7 going into the third quarter, do you find with such a young quarterback that you are instinctively going to Jonathan Franklin more? Or are you saying, no, I'm going to give my young quarterback and treat him just like he's a senior? You know what? We just play the game. We really do. We just play the game. And Noel just dials up plays. And, we like to have Jonathan in there. We like to have the ball in Jonathan's hands, but we just play the game. And, you'll see we'll rotate those backs through, rotate our receivers through. We kind of have to with the tempo that we try to go at. Today we were a little slower in tempo just because we were just trying to be a little bit more methodical, and it was more of a grinded-out game. But we just called the offense.
Thank you. Have a good afternoon.